Welcome. I'll be covering some of my favorite moments and running commentary on Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 7. Tuvok! Of course, Seven would be talking to her old contacts, people she trusts. She looked terrified under her poised facade, and if that had really been Tuvok, I'm sure he would have known how serious she was. The little Voyager music in the background was just the icing on the cake of this scene. Da, 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 da. Oh no! Well played, Seven, putting in that double test for him. Her resolve and fury was amazing. She knew that since he was a changeling, there was a good chance her real friend was no longer around or being tortured for information to help hide. This is the moment that kind of vindicated my ongoing headcanon of Jerry Ryan as Éowyn in Lord of the Rings. She has always been my dream casting because she has this presence to her and elegance and warrior flair. And this is the moment where I knew I was right in casting her, because imagine her doing the scene, "I am no man." All this time, and lore is still a problem. When I was a kid watching TNG, he always kind of freaked me out. In general, at that age, Data was kind of scary, and then when lore showed up, I was like, I'm out. As I've gotten older, though, I now kind of understand his cynicism and why he was lashing out. I'm not excusing Lore's behavior, but I'm just saying I can sympathize with his character more. I'm not afraid of him. I feel sorry for him, if anything. I think an integrated Lore and Data personality would be really interesting, and I kind of hope we see that later in the season. Also, there is more to Jack's syndrome. I knew it. It's not just a disease. I can't believe it. I'm shipping these two. I think they balance each other really well, and they're both passionate, talented people, just in very different ways. Looks like I'm not alone. Jack saw it too. And what was with that telepathy moment? Surely Picard would have noticed side effects like that when he was ill? Or is Jack's version of the syndrome more pronounced and therefore more in touch with the whatever alien we'll find out next week is going on? The moment I joined Team Jack was when he felt so much for Will. It was really sweet of him to basically say, look, I don't have a family. He does. I'll just give myself up. He's been kind to me this entire time. He doesn't deserve this because of me. And that was really a moment where I was like, okay, he's definitely not his Outlander character here. And I could let go of that. Playing the I'm a ghost ship bored me. Such a classic move, from tall ships to starships. I love it. Abandoned, mysterious ships are probably my favorite plot on any show, regardless of genre. I don't care if you're doing a historical epic, or Doctor Who, or Star Trek. I love it. If you want to get a thumbs up from Alexa, put in a ghost ship. Fantastic action scene too, with coordinated dropping of all those force fields everywhere. I like that they decided to go with a semi-documentary style camera. With this, a slight shake to it, not enough that you're disoriented, just enough that you're like, ooh, I'm in the action. I'm running down the hallway. Ooh, there's a force field. I thought that was a really good idea. Captain Vadek talking about how solids ruined her world is not entirely wrong. The Dominion War was nasty on both sides. A lot of difficult decisions were made during that time period. The actor Amanda Plummer was outstanding. You could see the tears forming in her eyes as she was describing Starfleet brutally experimenting on her. I really feel for her character here, and she's clearly suffering from PTSD from this experience. Again, not condoning her choices, but I understand where she's coming from. All right, Project Proteus. I'm assuming they're referring to first rather than the namesake sea god. I had to bring him up though because he's married to Psamathe, who's in my top 5 favorite Greek mythology deities. I love her so much. As her husband, he kind of comes along with that, you know, like I love Persephone, so Hades is along for the ride. Don't get me wrong, Hades is awesome. If you're into Greek mythology like I am, and I apologize, usually I talk about this on my other channel, sometimes deities kind of, I don't know, they come together. And I'd say Persephone and Hades are one of those power couples. Proteus and Psamathe, I would advocate, are another one. They don't get talked about very often. Everyone's all Zeus, Poseidon, and I'm just like, Psamathe, and everyone goes, who? Back to the episode. I thought it was quite the twist that Starfleet caused this issue. And again, what a speech from Vodic talking about how she may have a short, painful life, but as a result, she can mimic any species perfectly. Her story was truly horrifying, and I understand why she loathes Starfleet as a result. Great storytelling there. If anyone can get through to Data, it's Geordi. What incredible performances from the entire cast this episode, villain and hero alike. The scene where Jack saw Sydney in trouble and realized his combat skills could save her life, and then he telepathically linked up with her, and it was like showing her how to like barrel roll and punch and stuff. That was amazing. And I can see why Sydney was so freaked out afterward, because even though there are telepaths in Starfleet, I don't think they control you very often. And although he was doing it to save her life, it must have been really disorienting. Like, what am I doing? I'm pretty sure she realized why he chose to, and she'll understand. It was just in that moment she was like, what just happened? And I think it may have set back the shipping just a little bit. At least now we have a way to track the changelings. That was really fast. And also, the captain should not have monologued so much. She gave a lot away. Unfortunately, phasers don't seem to be very effective against them. At least she chose to keep the crew alive. That's something. At this point, I realized Vodic was just going to take the Titan. That was a bold move. But I remembered at the early part of the episode, she had told Jack she couldn't explain why he was needed. She had to show him. So I am very certain next episode, we're going to have a lot of answers. And probably more questions, but we'll get to see a little bit more about what the syndrome really is. Maybe it's a dormant piece of alien DNA or something that integrates into certain family lines. It reminds me a little bit of Stargate Atlantis, where they had the Wraith as this dangerous alien race, also incidentally created by the ancients. Another tie-in. My point is, they experimented on some humans and combined humans and Wraith. So some of the characters have abilities, kind of, because of that combination, and I'm just wondering if maybe way back in the Picard family line, there was something like that going on. I don't know. It's a theory. And you know what? His mother was the one who was having trouble. Maybe it's on his mother's side. They could be tying everything together there. You know how she was acting so strangely and they thought they had a reason? What if it wasn't that? What if that whole plot line was related to this? He got it from her. I'm very happy to have Data back, though. When I got older, he became one of my favorite characters. I can't wait for next week.